Welcome to the presentation. The roots of the pharmaceutical industry lie back with the pharmacists and pharmacies that offer traditional remedies as far back as the Middle Ages. But the industry, as we understand it today, really has its origins in the second half of the 19th century. Whilst the scientific revolution of the 17th century had spread ideas of rationalism and experimentation, and the Industrial Revolution had transformed the production of goods in the late 18th century. The marrying of the two concepts for the benefit of human health was a comparatively late development. Merck in Germany was possibly the earliest company to move in this direction. Originating as a pharmacy founded in Damascus in 1668, it was in 1827 that Heinrich Immanuel Merck began the transition towards an industrial and scientific concern by manufacturing and selling alkaloids. Similarly, GlaxoSmithKline's origin can be traced back as far as 1715. It was only the middle of 19th century that became involved in the industrial production of medicine, producing patented medicine from 1842, and the world's first factory for producing only medicine in 1859. Meanwhile, in the USA, Pfizer was founded in 1849 by two German immigrants, initially as a fine chemical business. They expanded rapidly during the American Civil War as demand for painkillers and antiseptics rocketed. Whilst Pfizer was providing the medicines needed for the Union war effort, a young commander named Colonel Ely Lilly was serving in the army, a trained pharmaceutical chemist. Lilly was an archetype of the dynamic and multi-talented 19th century American industrialist who, after his military career and trying his hand in farming, set up a pharmaceutical business in 1876. He was a pioneer of new method in the industry, being one of the first to focus on R&D as well as manufacturing. Another military man in the drugs business was Edward Robinson Squibb, who, as a naval doctor during the Mexican-American War of 1846 to 1848, through the drugs he was supplied with overboard due to the low quality. He set up a laboratory in 1858, like Pfizer supplying Union armies in the Civil War and laying the basis for today's BMS. Switzerland also rapidly developed a homegrown pharmaceutical industry in the second half of the 19th century. Previously a center of the trade in textile and dyes, Swiss manufacturers gradually began to realize that dye stubs had antiseptic and other properties and began to market them as pharmaceuticals, in contrast to the origin in pharmacies of other enterprises. Switzerland's total lack of patent laws led to it being accused of being a pirate state in the German and the Basel, hub of the pharmaceutical industry, all have their roots in this boom. The unregulated nature of the trade in medicines during this period ensured there was a far less strict delineation between pharmaceutical and chemical industry than we have nowadays. These companies focused as much on cod liver oil, toothpaste, citric acid for soft drinks, and hair gel as a prescription medicines, as well as selling products like heroin on the over-the-counter market. The national rivalries and conflict that characterized this period also had their impact on the developing industry. Bayer had the aspirin trademark and its US assets seized during World War I, whilst American Merck, now Merck and Company in the US or Merck Sharp in Dhomi MSD elsewhere, was compulsorily split off from its German parent company at the same time. The beginning of the globalization of the industry was seen both before and after the war. In the UK, import duties incentivized many foreign companies such as Wyeth, Sandoz, Ciba, Eli Lilly, and MSD to set up subsidiaries in Britain in the post-war years. Automation of the drug discovery process. While there was some breakthrough, the enormous expense and risk involved in R&D caused many to merely ape their competitors, trying to get a cut of market share using Me Too formulation rather than innovating novel medicines. Companies have tried to overcome some of these problems by outsourcing various aspects of their process and through buying up smaller companies that perhaps retain more of the innovative entrepreneurialism of the pioneers of the 19th century. But new technologies are what really promise a positive future for the industry in the 21st century. Both computing and biotechnology have allowed great leaps forward in both the development and production of new drugs. Automation of the drug discovery process through high throughput screening and the computerization of genomics have allowed breakthroughs at much higher rate than previously. Starting with insulin in the 1970s, genetic modification has allowed production of human proteins by bacteria, and biological drugs such as the monoclonal antibodies introduced around the turn of the millennium hint at a whole new panorama of far more specific drugs that could impact on human health as much as the medicine of last century. Thank you.